Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sloppy Lab. This is Bottom of the Beaker, the weekly show about the design, the ducks, and the strategy of Keyforge, everyone, and I do mean everyone's favorite unique deck game. I am Tritrix JT Russell, and with me tonight is a man who never has to go searching for a place to sit when he goes to search because he's very fast to the pew pew pew. Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if these jokes actually mean anything, or if I'm just like completely missing it.
That was pretty straightforward, right? You're like, you got your guns coming out real quick because you're shooting quick on the draw, and the guns make a pew 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 sound.
You say I was
And
I was going to find a seat.
at church, because you sit in the pew.
See, that needed a lot of explanation for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in that. Maybe I'm a little slow tonight. Um, that required some background knowledge, I think.
Nice, nice. I've been working on my dad joke game with the kids, so I know I'm reaching a new tier. You got to stay up. You got to keep up.
Maybe I'm just expecting something so much smarter, and then you just bust out the dad joke, and I'm like, is this like a reference I don't get? But no, it's just lowest common denominator.
Uber weirdo in the chat saying they would have never connected those dots, but they love it. You
Okay.
know what?
Whew, all
I
right.
will take it. I will take it. And I love it. Uh, uh, well, then, quick draw. I'm going to dumb it down a little bit. We are not alone in the lab this evening. Our guest, welcome back to the lab, by the way, must be a leprechaun because he is certainly after my lucky charms. Welcome in, Dead Sync. How you doing, Andrew? Welcome back.
Thanks. I came for the great conversation, but I'm really staying for the fantastic jokes. So thank you both so much for having me back.
It's good to have you
Nice.
back. You're approaching the probably the top three for most appearances. Not many people have been back more than once, so
Wow. When do I move up to the silver tier for doing that? Ah,
it's
oh,
pretty good. You
I see
might.
what you did there.
foreshadowing. Very good.
I see what you did there. I like it. I like it very much. Um, I don't know if we asked you, and if we did, I apologize because this is usually the sort of thing I remember. But is there a backstory to the Dead Sync name? Did you give us the rundown before?
I don't think I did, but yeah, there is a bit of backstory, I guess, and that is at a period of time in my life when I had, this was probably freshman year in college, when I before that in high school had, the typical goofy username that had like Extreme with X in it, and I thought it was cool, and then I said, yeah, I probably should do a new handle for like PlayStation, all this other sort of stuff, and I kind of had a moment in my life where I was realizing that I had combined a lot of things in my personal life together to make it work, right? And I work in video production, and at the time I was in the band in college I went to, UConn, go Huskies. And
Nice.
I wound up, and it kind of was like the gateway into like how I began my career was doing video, which is again my career passion with a thing I was enjoying, which was music. And the a phrase in editing, which I guess isn't really used often, but does exist, is called dead sync, when your picture and your audio are completely in sync. And that was
Mm.
kind of like my way of like saying I'm going to combine the things in my life and sync them up. And so that's kind of like why that name stuck. And what's funny? That was for that back then, but I have found that has continued to kind of repeat throughout my life. And a lot of that is true in KeyForge and the projects that I've been fortunate enough to be involved in too. So yeah, there's the story of Dead Sync. It's not about syncs that have been destroyed or dead.
I
I
thought my theory was that you were a fan of the Dead Kennedys and NSYNC, and you just put them together.
You got me. That's actually the real story. What I just said was all cover.
It was
You got
believable.
me. Yep.
Nice. And good morning, Vietnam. How's it going, Riku? Welcome to have you in the chat. Love to have you there. Awesome. Yeah, appreciate the story. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. I like it. Uh, it's so funny. You look at some of these handles and they're like, where was your head at 20 years ago? You know, it's like you look at somebody's cell phone number and it's like, where did you live in the mid 2000s? It's like, well, I lived in this area code. You can tell the 413. And it's like, that was probably Western Mass. Yep. But since then, it's kind of a who knows sort of a thing. Nice. Well, awesome. We are here this evening on this auspicious evening to talk about KeyChain things. Super excited. And we've got to chat with the Archon's Corner folks a while back with a big what's all KeyChain about and why is it exciting. And that was awesome. Thanks again for having us on, folks. And well, we're dropping some cool new features and thought we would ring the bell for those too. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah, Andrew's put a ton of work into a lot of like the planning and the layout of this. So we're really happy that you could join us here to kind of talk through what we have now and where we're going with this. And do you guys want to save the big surprise reveal, or do we want to tell people right now?
JT, you look like you have an opinion on it.
He looked like he actually didn't know what I was talking about. That's what I got out of that.
So we'll meet in the middle, and whatever that is.
Like, yeah, quick try. Up to you. What do you think? Tell us now.
Well, you have it up on the screen right now, and so people can see. And also, it should be noted that anyone that logs into KeyChain can see what you're seeing right now.
Mm-hmm. They're in the wild, as it were. The much anticipated awards feature. Very, very excited for this. Man, there's a lot to dig into. I feel like you should kick us off, Andrew, because this has kind of been your baby from the beginning, and we're getting to see it here, and I'm excited for that. But I feel like we owe you the honors of setting the stage and kind of giving us the genesis story.
Well, I appreciate that, but I got to say, first and foremost, obviously this would not be possible without you two. And again, I'm so appreciative that because truly you reach out to me about making this thing a reality. I mean, I was just doing something like this in Google Sheets, and Lord help me, this was not the way to be doing it. Because it was very difficult, and I didn't even enjoy it, to be completely honest. And then both of your willingnesses to like understand how that could scale to the larger community, and obviously JT, just kind of the incredible talent you have in development again, and I really appreciate both of you and allowing us to kind of take this to the next level. So I know you mentioned that, this is kind of my baby, but truly it is all of ours. And we've worked, especially in the past several months of getting to know you both more and working on this project. I'm very, very appreciative and grateful. That said, yeah, I mean, this is awards on KeyChain live now. And awards as a concept was probably one of the first things I think that we spoke about in the early days of KeyChain /PMC, which I don't think we've publicly said what that is. So I'm going to continue to pull that thread and just, let people try to figure that out. But the early kind of prototype days of, hey, this would be something that we think would be really cool for people to, unlock, because we've talked about before about what motivates people. And that can be a number of things. It could be climbing the leaderboards. It could be personalizing your persona through player cards. But some people are trophy hunters. They're achievement hunters. They love to unlock the next shiny. And that's a big thing, right, in video games for people who play video games. And it's not totally new to Keyforge. Zenzi's Key Tracker does this. Formerly Crucible Tracker has done this. Even, props to Ghost Galaxy doing this with decks with accolades. So it's not totally new to Keyforge, but this is our take on it, right? And so as we were kind of doing the ideation, and this is all of us. When I say, again, it's not just me, Quick Draw, JT, you were both so heavily involved in this and coming up with ideas and refining ideas. We started to think, okay, well, what could this entail? And I think correct me if I'm wrong, and what do you tell me what you think about it? But it felt like we had a lot of good ideas, as far as like not just the types of things that could be unlocked, but even just like the how they unlock, and like, can some things be earned multiple times? Do some things tier up? Do some things are they one and done? And then we kind of realized, at least I did, and I want to hear from you two, that like maybe just the one size fits all didn't work. And so moving to kind of a bucket of 3 different kind of categories, if you will, on how they function. Do you two want to speak about that and like how we kind of addressed that?
Yeah, so I mean, you laid out this hierarchy basically, and so awards is like the highest level. And as you were kind of just saying, like we couldn't really just put all of these ideas that we had into the same bucket. And so you split them out pretty nicely here. And so the three different types of awards that we have currently are badges, achievements, and trophies. And so the badges are something that we are still working on ways of making it more automated, but this is currently awarded by EOs for doing certain wacky things that you have in a game. Like one of the ones we have is night moves, where you forge a key with Night Forge, and if you can do that, then you'll get this badge, and it'll show up. And once your profile becomes more public, people will be able to see, like, oh man, like Andrew forged a key with Night Forge at one time, and you'll have a nice, cool story to tell about that, depending on the badges that you have. The second one is achievements, which are set into tiers, so you can kind of like achieve them at a bronze level or a lower level, and then the more you do it, maybe you'll get to like the silver and then the gold, and then I believe the top level is called ascension, right? It goes a bronze, silver, gold, ascension, right?
Yeah, we could, right? We kind of started like bronze, silver, gold, and the way I like to view it is that like if you again in the context of a video game, which it's easy to draw the parallel a lot. Like bronze is like the tutorial kind of thing. Like silver is like maybe the mid act, and the gold is the end boss. And if you got gold, like congratulations, like you beat the game, celebrate. But right, you, the KeyForge community loves KeyForge, and some people love a challenge, and right? We talk about Ascension. It kind of conveniently timed. We were planning this before Ascension got announced. Like we had the concept of Ascension tier, like really kind of like fleshed out, and then Ascension comes, which is fantastic. And Ascension again is the tier that we don't think the famous last words, right? That we don't expect everyone to get that, and that's okay. It's kind of just like it's the ultimate end game for the people who really I don't want to say even committed, because people who get other tiers are also committed, but just kind of really kind of pursue like a very specific stat line. Maybe they love to play sealed, and that's like exclusively what they play, and they play a lot of it. So they might get the ascension tier of playing sealed matches, and you can look at someone's achievement composition and kind of see what they like. So yeah, ascension tier is kind of our special tier. It has its own glowing amber in black color scheme. Yeah, that's those options are available by continuing to level up and tier up those achievements.
Yeah. And the third and the final one is trophies, which are you can earn them many times. They're generally for winning events or maybe getting top 4 in a large event, top 8 in a very large event. And then there's even a success one, which is winning a small tournament, 3 to 5 players. And the cool thing that I love about these trophies is that not only can you earn them multiple times, but if you click in on them, then you can see who has earned these trophies and how many times they've earned them. So it's a cool way to it's like a different type of leaderboard that is very public, and you can kind of go in there and see who's won tournaments with 6 or more players before. And so it's very cool to be able to see that. And shout out to Kirkman and Dexter Unfathomable for having 2 champion trophies already. That's pretty nice.
We would be remiss, Quick Draw, not to mention the person with the most success trophies at the time of the feature release, and that is none only than Mr. 3457 himself.
Yeah, I have 5, and that just means that my group does not get more than 5 people. But we're really hoping that something like this can do that. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's really cool to be able to see this. So if anyone is listening right now, you can actually follow along. You can go into your My KeyChain right now, and in the top menu, if you're on desktop, it's going to say My KeyChain leaderboards, results, and awards. If you're on mobile, click the little drop down and to navigate between pages, you should see awards. This is live now, so anyone can see it. You can poke around in there and see all the different types of awards that we have in there.
And one thing we teased at, I don't know if we've mentioned specifically what they are, but there are some trophies that are not visible, and that these are kind of for some of the higher honors of KeyForge that will be manually assigned I don't know how much we want to dive into them today. I'm willing to if you want to, but again, they don't appear by default, so it's kind of I toss it to the crowd here to see how much we want to.
Yeah, I think you tease a little bit. That's fun. And I mean, I see these two as some of them are kind of up for grabs for all. Others might be a little bit tough, especially if you're not going to be jetting around the world. It could be a little bit tricky. So I think the ones you're seeing here are awards that you are, reasonably able to achieve through dedicated play and, great and exceptional performance, let's call it, at your home base LGS. And there are some that, well, if you're going to get it on a plane, you can track some of these other down, but we aren't going to put them out there as, as holes you got to punch necessarily to fill your trophy case, right?
Yeah, they kind of align a little bit with the Ascension tier of achievements, and in fact, some of those will share that same color scheme. Because again, some of these trophies will not be earned by everybody, but again, we want to recognize the special accomplishments that people get, and yeah. Another note is like why did we do kind of variation, between a 3 to 5 event size versus so the actual tiers are 3 to 5 is success only, right? It's a smaller group, and those are kind of like, hey, you won this smaller event, you get this one. And why did we do it that way? Well, it felt a little strange to say if you had like a 4-person event or a 3-person event that the person in the last place gets the bronze trophy. That doesn't quite really align, right? But then when you hit the 6 to 10 player size, you get the 1, 2, 3. Because now these events are larger. Third place will go just beyond. It won't really actually. It'll go just beyond, I guess. It'll stop at half, essentially the halfway mark, so to speak. And then where we actually take a cue from Ghost Galaxy's TRG is that their recommended top cut or top cut size for a top cut of 8 players starts at a tournament with 11 players. And so we kind of follow that a little bit. And then from 11 and beyond, we don't do 1, 2, 3. We do 1, 2, top 4, top 8. And the top 4 and top 8 trophies are right. We didn't want them to look better or worse. They are kind of, they're just different. They're kind of like, you've done this larger event and you've made a top 4 placement or a top 8 placement. But of course, 1 and 2 will still get the 1 and 2 champion and runner-up trophy. So, we're in beta, right? Things can always change. We continue to potentially tweak, but that's kind of the philosophy behind structuring the trophies in that way, so they feel appropriate for any given event size.
Totally.
I want to. Oh, go ahead, JT.
No, go for it.
I just wanted to highlight one of the badges that we have in here because this is going to be very relevant very soon, and that is a Prophetic Visions release badge. This is a badge that you can get from your EO for attending a Prophetic Visions pre-release or release event. You can only get this during the release event or like the pre-release event or whatever your store is doing. So this is your one and only chance to get this, just to encourage people to go to your Prophetic Visions release events, because if you don't go to that, you're not going to ever get this badge. And there'll be one for each set, I'm sure, in the future, but this is like a cool one because it's like you have a very specific opportunity to get this and it's limited. So
yeah, no, that's a great shout. And actually, one thing I want to stress too, we probably have some EO playgroup EOs listening now. We're going to have guidance on these in our KeyChain reporting standards document, which will be made public at some point, but we're still kind of drafting it ultimately. But we oftentimes try to have very, very loose definitions for things, right? Because every playgroup is different, and that is like so true in KeyForge. We've learned, even just from hearing feedback from other, from EOs, that they all do business differently, so to speak. So when we say what is a Prophetic Visions pre-release or release event, it doesn't mean you need to have the kit from Ghost Galaxy. It doesn't mean that we're saying releases only, this specific date window. It doesn't mean that that you can't have multiple even, right? You might have multiple. I know our store typically does. We try to do one on our normal weekly slot, and then also one on a Saturday because it's a larger event. We want to bring in people who maybe couldn't come on our Thursday. Right? We're kind of just saying, hey, as event organizers, it benefits you to kind of have within your own kind of context, what is that type of an event, right? Because if you just start doling them out, years down, like you said, years down the road, that obviously doesn't promote your own store's events in the same way. And that's the whole goal of all of this, is that we do these, especially like this Prophetic Visions release badge, to further incentivize going out to an event. Assumedly you'll get some new decks, and that will be fun, and maybe Ghost Galaxy will have extra stuff for that as well too. But guess what? You also get this for your profile. So I wanted to mention that we have a little bit of flexibility baked in there. As EOs are kind of like the standard bearers for how they manage a lot of this. But we hope that they will be on board and saying, these are our advertised pre-release or release events. These are the ones I'm going to award badges for. And that's a tool they have in their tool belt to incentivize, attendance.
Mm-hmm. And our KeyChain fans will know the term EO. I will admit that this was a term I didn't know. I didn't know before starting working on this with you all, but we mean event organizer. So those are the folks who are running things at your LGS or your group. So yeah, if you're like me and I don't know, don't get to your LGS as much as you ought to. And by the way, I apologize for being a poor vassal to demonstrate, to show off this feature on stream here. Either of my co-hosts would have likely had a more colorful display. So, and I apologize, this is going to make for poor radio, but as you're scrolling through the list in KeyChain, right, you're going to see all of the various awards laid out. They're going to start off nice and dark, inviting you to meet the criteria to earn them, and then they're going to light up for you. The badges and trophies have sort of their standard image, but then the achievements will gain new images as you level them up, which is pretty cool. And I love these three offerings too, because it kind of hits at both the collector itch in me, the gotta catch 'em all itch, and then it also hits the competitive itch as well, if I want to kind of engage with it that way, right? So each of the badges I can totally collect, each of the achievements I can collect, each of the trophies I can collect, and then if I want to go a step further and get really sweaty with it, I can dig into the trophies and be like, all right, I want to also be the front runner on the trophy list, on the trophy leaderboard, and make sure that I have the most number one finishes at the end of the season, or chase the all-time one. And yeah, right now we're showing all-time, but this is we say all-time because at some point it might not be just only all-time. Maybe there'll be a seasonal leaderboard there too, which is kind of fun. But anyway, I really like the duality there, how there's kind of this you can engage by collecting, and I'm a completionist, guilty completionist, and you can also engage by getting sweaty and trying to climb the boards there too, which is a lot of fun.
And also visually, we have those three types. They're kind of a visual motif. For each of these, I get to kind of nerd out about silly design things. And I'm not a graphic designer by any means. I primarily work in video, but right, the badges have that circular type of look. The achievements have the hexagon, and then trophies use the triangular motif. Although, I think one of my personal favorites is the champion one, because it's a triangular motif, but it might resemble something else you might put on your head if you are the winner. So so those are a lot of fun to make. And also, I just want to also shout out two specific badges again that are kind of in the same vein of really promoting. All these promote your OP, but specifically kind of generate more attendance and a larger audience. Is the +1 badge, which you get for essentially it's a refer a friend. If you bring someone to your play group to play an event at that play group who's never played an event at that play group before, you can assign that badge to that person, because that person has brought someone new into your scene, which I think is a huge, again, these type of kind of incentives help grow the game. And the KeyForge Ambassador badge is similar in the sense that that is awarded to players who attend something akin to a learn to play event, where their primary goal is to help new players learn how to play. And again, loose definition there, but a lot of stores do hold these types of events. and that's a way for which they bring people. So again, having these types of badges further encourage that. And again, shout out to Archon's Corner with House Party. Again, there's a little bit of a nod there to their logo, and then it's always a party in Archon's Corner. So we want to have a nice little we want to have a good party, and that's a fun one too. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm just super excited for people to get their hands on these and start unlocking them.
Nice. Well, you touched on all of them except for maybe one of my favorites too, on all the badges. So, and we should say too that is there an official judge program? I don't know if there's an official judge program. Like there's G, there's Marcus, and then you're kind of in that tier with them as well. Are you do you consider yourself official quotes judge status?
Oh, gee, well, no, I'm not. In the sense that again, there's G and Marcus. First of all, I mean those are like the ultimate. Those two are such wonderful individuals and so highly qualified. I mean, I am a judge. I mean, I was a judge at Necco, but that's kind of just it's not an official title, if you will. Although I appreciate the mention in that company, because that's great company.
Yeah, so what you're saying is you've not yet judged at a vault tour, and please don't ask you to do it. Nice. But I mentioned that because I really appreciate the final badge that we haven't touched on yet, which is a lot of fun. The BSOKF badge, which if you've ever used a Windows machine for any length of time, you'll get the reference there, especially after looking at the image. And you earn this badge by creating a game state that generates an infinite loop during your turn, which is not trivial to do, but not impossible. I don't know. I guess the old crash the old TCO server badge. So we're up, but in real life.
I don't even think I know how to achieve that.
Double Flame Wing does it. Double, and I can't remember the exact text, but essentially that's infinite.
But is that
one that comes to mind?
Is there a breakpoint in there? Like, can you may out of the loop, or there?
I'm gonna have to pull up the text.
Well, if you're, TCO lets you like opt out of it if you get into a loop, but I've never seen it happen. And I guess Flamewing might be one that could do that. You could just continue to kill it, or kill the other one rather if you have two of them out, even though it wouldn't do anything else after that. After your deck's empty, I guess that would count for the infinite loop.
Yeah, I feel like I've hit some. There's got to be some.
I mean, there's also another classic one is Plague Winds with Reassembling Automaton.
Oh,
because it just keeps So people who are really way more creative at combos and broken game states than I will probably come up with even more options, but it's possible to do. But yeah, it's rare enough where it felt like a fun badge to make. So
it is a cool one.
I like it too, because it encourages you to try and go for the wacky thing at your LGS night, right? So,
yep.
I mean, I see all of these as like, hey, let's encourage folks, give folks a reason to come back out to the LGS night over, week over week, make it fun, but I'll make it engaging and keep folks showing up. So that's kind of the goal. And so I love this too, because it's like, it's not just, hey, did you bring your banger Archon again? Like try and make something funky happen, and that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're barely scratching the surface with as far as like what we could put in here. There's like 6 badges in here right now. We have plenty of other ideas that are in the backlog. If you have any ideas for things that you would like to see in here that you think would be encouraging you or other people to come in, then go to the KeyChain Discord server. There's a feedback channel. We read everything, obviously. Drop it in there, and we'll potentially add it to the queue.
No, and that's a great mention too, because another thing we should probably mention is, you kind of alluded to Quick Draw, is we want to keep adding, right? We want to keep adding to it. And this is just the beginning. And this is a good segue perhaps into how we're going to do that, right? How we're going to do that. And what we announced this on Monday. So I guess it's 2 days ago now. Charm drops. And that's our kind of, it coins the term from, or borrows the term from, content drops, which is again often used. I keep going back to video games. Content there are updates to game or a service, but they're not necessarily new features. It's just more content, right? And that's what charm drops will be for us. When we do a charm drop, that will contain one or more either new awards. So again, that's badges, achievements, trophies, or player card elements. So avatars or backgrounds. And JT, I don't know if you have these queued up because they're not on the site yet. Maybe they're buried in a Discord thread somewhere, and if not, I could send it to you. We're gonna put you on the spot here. If not, no worries. But one thing you'll notice when we release these, the full notes for Charm Drop 1, and by the way, Charm Drop 1 is called The Award Goes To, right? We like to have a nice little fun name with all of our Charm Drops. But CD1 is going to have two extra things as well that are not awards related, and that is a new avatar, and that is as well as a new background. And the new avatar is Vault Masters 2025 avatar for all you VM fans out there, and the new background is the prophetic visions. What we're calling is prophetic visions, which is, you'll notice that there's a section in the backgrounds that is all based on the art of the packages of the Archon decks. And so that is the art. I think it's Azrael is the card name, but it is essentially the key art for prophetic visions. So those two things are going to be added in this charm drop, as well as all the the initial batch of awards.
So are those out, JT? Or are those still like they're not on there yet?
I don't think those
they're not on there. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can cue it up for you here.
Okay, so awards are live, but these are not quite live yet, right?
Not quite yet.
Very soon. Very soon. I'm gonna.
He's pounding furiously at the admin kind of.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna send something.
This is how Steve Jobs kills his aides when they try and update the product mid demo. Nice.
Oh, I'm gonna do a thing. I'm gonna look at me go. I'm gonna send you two links. Wow, that's a long link. This is great. This is great radio, by the way. But I'm giving you the direct links to the.
Ooh, okay.
Is this working? Ooh, is this working? I like that reaction. Positive reaction.
We'll make it work in post. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
I do love that image that's on the Prophetic Visions packs. I think that's
so
really
good.
Cool art.
It's such a good change too from what I think. And I'd say the other art was bad, but I think it was going to be. So there. So now I'm looking. I'm a little bit behind on the stream, but the first one is the VM25 with that nice brat green background color, which again those packages feature. And then the Prophetic Visions art. It's so good. And again, I think it was going to be the dinosaur, and then there was something else from the game found. But then when people started getting them, these evolved. It was this again. I think the card name is Azrael. It's a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. It's fantastic art, and we're happy to be able to bring it. And again, all I want to mention too that all of the artists, all of the art that we use, all of the artists who make this art. They're all listed in our attributions page on KeyChain, because we absolutely want to make sure that they're given their due for the fantastic art that they work on for Keyforge. So,
So take note, GG. We're in good standing with the fair use policies.
Yeah,
all that.
It's very important to us. Yeah,
I love that. Is that gosh? Is this just kind of overlapping references? But that feels like a Diablo 2X crossover. Wasn't there some sword, Azrael's sword or something? I don't know. There was an Azrael who was an angel of some sort. Maybe this is all just kind of coming back to biblical references, but very likely. But anyway, I digress. That there was a flaming sword involved too, but also very very overused imagery, so it's possible. But this art, 100% awesome. Love it.
Yes, someone posted somewhere in Discord that the packs that they got in their game found. I still don't have an email yet, so I'm just like waiting patiently.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with
Oh
you.
man! But somebody posted they have like the regular pack, which has this art that you're showing here with like the Redemption Knight. There was another one that was a what's the special border called this time around?
Foresight, I think.
Foresight decks, yeah, and it
Yeah.
has like a witch on it, and that is a different art. And then the third type was a guaranteed anomaly, and that has different art on it as well. So pretty cool,
Cool.
like very cool art they put on the foils this time to like in the wrappers. And it was nice to see them all next to each other like that, having a
And
unique
I wonder if
image.
there'll be a fourth one too, because there's going to be the retail edition ones, right? Which I'm not. I'm not. I still don't know if those are personalized with the store name. I'm not. I don't think so. I could be wrong. I really don't know what I'm talking about here. I know in the past they have been, but if they're not, that could conceivably be a fourth type of packaging.
Yeah, well, in the past, the store decks came in the same type of cardboard box that every other store deck came in, and there was just an
Right.
opening in the bottom of the cardboard
Right.
box to show the store's logo on the back of
Right.
the Archon.
Right.
So, I don't know if they're going to change that from cardboard to like the wrappers, but might be kind of cool if they did.
A window or something. Yeah, Stormstrong in the chat here with a cool idea. Maybe there's going to be there'll be a series of I'm blanking on the word. Gosh, help me out here. Art that was
Alternate art?
Not alternate art. Like Ezra Paws, Flip Stallard, and
personal custom art.
Personalized custom art could be a
personal.
Could be a fun one too.
A self-portrait, if you will, perhaps.
But anyway, on your I don't know. It would be sad if this was a thing of the past. Is this what you're talking about?
That's it.
Yeah. So okay, now you have to tell the story, because people are going to be like, why do you have? I guess I should tell the story, but I'd like you to tell the story. I guess for some fun reason. Why do you have this ethereal lounge deck?
Well, I think, and you passed this on to us. You gave this to us, a quick draw, and I kept it naturally at KFC because in part of our love for deck names, right, and pronouncing deck names. And This is a store deck. It says the Ethereal Lounge is my Keyforge home base. And the deck name, beautiful deck name, is Bartleby of Ethereal Lounge. So ethereal instead of ethereal. So I'm going to call it, I have one of the limited edition misprint home base decks. And this, you didn't look at the list, did you? This is one banger. I wouldn't have given this up. I don't know.
Is it really? I didn't. I genuinely, our store owner. So here's the story about this one. Our store owner opened it, and he doesn't really play too much Keyforge. I mean, he has before, but he goes. And then he sends me a picture, and he's like, "They got the name wrong." Before this sounds like a smear campaign against Ghost Galaxy, I got to give a special shout out to them, because they were fantastic in correcting the problem and sent us another, the same amount at no cost to the store. They were fantastic at resolving it. So hats off to them. It's become a running joke at our local now, as we have the Ethereal Lounge, but like, where do you go? Like, secret passage to the Ethereal Lounge. It's kind of like, that's where the real action happens.
What's the name of the deck again, JT?
It's a Bartleby of the Ethereal Lounge. Bartleby.
Oh, so that one's not scanned yet.
I didn't scan it. It's too good. I'm holding this as a secret weapon for when I meet Emperor Riku at a tournament and have to win. I bring this one out.
I just looked, and there are 11 Ethereal Lounge decks on DOK, because the store decks come in sets of 12. So there are 11 of them, and JT, you have the 12th that's not scanned still.
I do. This piece of history right here. I love it.
And it's a sloppy outcome, so I feel like I have to give it to the sloppy lab guys. I mean, come on, It's like meant to be. So yeah, I'm happy you still have that. And if it is a banger, I wish you the best. Again, I have no clue what's in it. I've been in the houses, I guess, and I forgot those now. So
As I won't tease you too much. It's probably solid, but not going to be taken down Voltorth. So, but it's a very cool deck. It's a very cool deck. It would be.
I want to see the list later.
Okay, maybe make it to Kagi at some point. There's some cool adaptive cards in there for. We'll see.
All right,
we'll see. But I don't know. I hope they do store decks again. I thought that was kind of a great touch. But gosh, I suppose if anybody would know, it'd be the EOs who are kind of helping coordinate some of the logistics there. And if neither
I
of
actually,
you, yeah.
well, I owe my store a call. He was supposed to tell me this week what the deal was with the prophetic visions, but I haven't got a chance to call him yet. He still has a bunch of the Amber Skies store decks. He's kind of holding them over us. He wants us to get 6 people, and we can't get 6 people. Every week there's like 1 person or 2 people that can't make it, and so we've had so much trouble getting to 6. And so he still has all of his Amber Skies store decks available. But I do have a Game Center Amber Skies deck.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think I don't know, adds a touch of extra uniqueness to an already unique game piece, which is just really nice touch. So I enjoy that. So two of my weekend anime decks, which is my local game store, are cherished decks. So it's very cool. I don't know.
But as Stormstrong said, there is a foil element. I'll be honest, I don't think anyone knows. I could be wrong. To what degree of foil? Because like one game found message made it sound like it would be a foil card, and then another made it feel like it would be multiple. So there is a foil element, which is new to Keyforge. I mean, again, I joined middle of the pandemic, so I don't know if FFG ever did something.
No, it's new to Keyforge.
Yeah, super cool.
There was someone who got their hands on an Artiforge printed foil card recently. It was given out at Essen in Germany. So they exist. They're in the wild. You can see Artiforge's capability of printing foils, and judging by how Andrew has got a interesting look on his face, he's probably going to pick one up right now.
I'm just up to no. Oh no! Don't keep stalling. Keep
stalling as he looks for this foil card that I think he might be trying to show us.
I'm not gonna. This is me being cryptic. Okay. I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
This is. I'm not. Sorry, I'm going to say things, but they're not going to be helpful. I'm not going to say why I have these.
Ooh, holy moly! Yeah, sorry, folks, there in podcast land, but you'll have to check out the video.
Cool. Wow.
So that is one of those Artiforge cards, isn't it?
I mean,
it is.
This set is, if you weren't going to print an entire deck in foil and you were just going to say print your like 39 38th card, 38 and 39, 37, I don't know, however we're counting, I forget how we decided we're counting those. Yeah, it does look amazing even on camera. I agree. There are things you could do.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see what they look like, the PV retail editions.
So, and I know we're veering off a little bit here, but I want to say that there's been some chatter about deck clones and folks getting those in and like asking, sharing stories like how long are they coming to print. I submitted for a deck clone like a week and a half ago. I got the it's being shipped notice within a week after that, which was pretty cool. I feel like they're scratching the surface on like how to sort of bridge the digital side of Keyforge, at least from like an inventory standpoint, to the paper and IRL side of Keyforge. So there's a lot of potential there, especially when you start talking about things like premium versions of cards and being able to print copies of decks, and there's a whole lot of things you could think about for sure. So
totally
interesting.
Yeah.
So did you get a deck clone for a deck you had in a foreign language, or was there another reason?
I ordered 2 deck clones, both foreign language decks. So I ordered a clone for Lorien, Il Puro Ministro d'Olio, which is an AOA deck that does might makes right things and gang or not things and key abduction things, and it's very, very cool. And then I also ordered a deck clone for Nemesis, which is a deck I already feel bad playing and didn't need the extra guilt of having it be in German for my non-German opponents to deal with. So now that it's in English, I might play it some more, which I don't know. I'm toying maybe with the idea of being able to jumping back into the NKFL with if time frees up, but that could be a contender, and I've kind of shied away from it. In part because I was like, am I ever going to play this IRL with the German list? I don't know if I would, but with a clone, I might I might.
That's the Heart of the Forest rig deck, right?
It's got Heart of the Forest. It doesn't have a graph. It does have By Night. It's got a punk, and it can set up some like very grueling but very certain end games with the Heart of the Forest, and it can also, I mean, it's also just a solid AOA deck absent the heart, right? Like, I mean, it's very capable of just saying, hey, this heart's gonna be a miasma, and we're gonna play a fair game of Keyforge otherwise, and still winning games. So a lot of cool things, very dynamic deck, but it can do some very, very nasty Heart of the Forest things too. Yeah. Yep.
Nice. I'm still waiting for the DT clones to become available.
Do you have ones in mind that you'd grab right away?
At least one. Yeah. Anakim is an Italian one. My favorite AOA deck. Super strong, but
yeah, Anakim for sure.
Yeah. But I followed up a few months ago and asked if they had any update, and they said no. So I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. I know. Again, I apologize. I know we're kind of off on a little bit of a tangent, but I guess there may be some hangups on like getting. No, it's not back design. All the clones have the same back design. Yeah, I don't know.
It was some of the actual art from DT. They lost a lot of the original art assets, they said.
Oh, the
card art.
Yeah.
Illustrations.
Card art. Yeah.
Wow.
So if there is a DT card that has not been reprinted yet, that could be one reason why.
That to me sounds like a great reason to revisit DT. But I mean, I guess if you don't have the original assets, then you've got to reprint a card with new art anyway, right? So they would only have the art if it happened to have been reprinted before they acquired all their assets. So I guess that's kind of frozen in time, which ones they have art for.
I think we need a DT redrawn 3457 edition that maybe could do well.
Well, I'll say too, I mean, as a longtime Magic player, like we're very much accustomed to getting reprints with new art. There's nothing that makes me feel like I need to see I don't know, your favorite DT card, think twice, let's call it, with the same art that it was originally printed in. Like, sure, give it some new art. That's cool. I guess it's unlikely that you're going to see some of the Evil Twins unless it's like a strict DT reboot or some of the Tide cards without a Tide mechanic. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be down for a DT remastered. I'm not going to lie.
I've said
I heard. I was like, go ahead.
No, I've said before, I don't know if I want that to happen because I don't think it would meet my expectations, and I think the DT's perfect as is. So
you have a high bar when it comes to DT for sure.
I do. Yeah.
I have a nice little strategy to get us back on track a little bit, and that is when you think of DT, what do you think of? And you think of premier tournaments. Am I right? Am I right?
Oh, that seems like a low blow, actually.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to touch on this, because this is another super exciting thing that happened kind of in the midst of us planning for awards, right? Awards was on our mind. It still is, but it's kind of now just getting out there in the world. And we were able to announce that KeyChain will, in the future, start being able to support results and progression for premier tournaments, which is super, super exciting. This is made possible because Ghost Galaxy has started publicly releasing the complete tournament data set for their premier tournaments, or at least I want to say at least for the Vault Tours. This was included in the Roseville recap article and has also been retroactively added to the Rochester. So again, hats off to Ghost Galaxy. That's, I think, a fantastic addition. It is probably the only reason why we're able to even do this, because in the way KeyChain works, we need the full data set so we can record, who attended, wins and losses, and finishing position. And because of that, we are able to do that. That's not live yet because there's just some special considerations we have to kind of handle on how that gets input. Right? It's not going to be anyone can just say, "Oh, I went 7-0. Like, give me the give me the victory. That'll be something that us three will be handling personally.
Yeah.
But will be, again, a lot can change, but we're envisioning, and again, you two feel free to chime in, will be something that will be not necessarily a play group, but some sort of something similar to a play group in the sense that you visit it, but anyone can visit it as the premier tournaments group, where maybe you don't have like a members list because no one's really a member, but you can have an event list, as well as we were talking about leaderboards specific to that, again, premier tournaments. So again, a lot more to follow, but super exciting news. Essentially what that means, what that boils down to is, hey, if you go to, a Vault Tour or have gone to a Vault Tour, we will do this retroactively for this season. If you're going to Portland, if you're on KeyChain, your wins will be in your matches played will give you XP, which will level you up, and potentially you can earn awards for going to these things. So again, it kind of is going to that goal of us trying to expand to more group types and event types, right? We're starting with LGS groups now. We have tournaments in open play, and coming soon will be premier tournaments. So do you two want to talk about that at all?
Yeah. So the data that Ghost Galaxy is releasing, does it include the deck information as well, or is it just the standings and the players?
Includes deck info. Yep.
Yeah, so it does. So that means that we could, when we get this set up, you can go to KeyChain, you can see whichever Vault Tour you want to see, you can see the standings top to bottom, and you can see the decks used by everyone. Is that correct?
Yeah, I admittedly haven't gone through every single CSV that's been provided, but the ones that I've gone through, decks right there, which blew me away because I was like, I did not expect to see decks, but yeah, and that's going to tie into some of our kind of awards planned for the future, which will key off of, say, the expansion of the deck that you played, this and that, and other properties of the deck, and so we'll be able to ingress all that kind of automatically and have it be tracked, which is going to be super cool.
That is, that's so exciting.
So good.
I mean, I've thought, like, looking at different awards and things, one of the things that always stuck out to me was like having the ability to say, like, win a tournament game with this set or with this house, or win a tournament game with every house, or this kind of stuff. And by leveraging the Master Vault API and having this deck info, at least for premier level events, and eventually hopefully for local events too, we can make this a more automated process where all EOs have to do is drop in the link to the deck used by each player, and then KeyChain will do the rest, where it'll say, okay, this person won 3 out of 4 games in this tournament, and they used Worlds Collide, Star Alliance, Logos, and Saurian, and it kind of like checks those off as far as your awards go to say, like, yeah, this person won a tournament game with these houses. So some really exciting possibilities just from like having the deck data in there. But that's still a ways away, but it is really exciting that GG released that info.
Yeah. And they started, again, like you said, ways away, but we're already starting like graphical assets. You two, I kind of showed you. I've had these, confession moment. I think I've had these graphics mocked up for like maybe a month and a half, if not longer, and I just never showed you for one reason or another. But like, again, this is kind of like I think to me this sums up so much of our process. Is we'll have so many ideas that we really want to pursue. And it's the three of us, and again, JT has put so much, all of the programming, the development program. I don't know the right term, development work as far as the actual beepity boops and the type B of the brackets and closed brackets and whatever. So right, we kind of have to pick and choose, like, what are we going to start on first. So we've kind of tried to approach it in some sort of like logical hierarchy order, right? People are going to want awards, people like that. We're going to be talking about what the next steps are, whether that's, I'm sure premier tournaments is certainly at the top of mind because of now that this is available. But then it's like, where do we go from there? And that's where we want to hear your feedback. I'll also mention that I guess we'll share this in the show notes, maybe, or it's your podcast. Sorry, I don't mean to. This is where it gets weird. I should have. But like, there exists a Discord link now. We are sharing our Discord link to the KeyChain Discord. I apologize. I feel like I'm just taking over here. No, don't put it in the show notes. That is to spite me and then blame me. It's my reason why it's not on there. But anyone anyone can go to the Discord server, learn more about KeyChain. In theory, everyone can go to the KeyChain website now. We've posted that link publicly. If you're not part of an LGS play group, there's not going to be a whole lot you can do, but you can poke around. You can see kind of like the general player card customization options. And again, once we start supporting premier tournaments, you'll be able to dive right into that. So again, please join our Discord server. Let us know what you think, what you might maybe want to see next, because I'm sure that will help us steer what we tackle next. Again, there's so many things. That is, again, so many great ideas, and we're having a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I don't want to speak on your behalf, but it's super cool seeing this all come together.
JT, can I push on the spot? Like, do you have a timeline for when the premier level events might be into KeyChain? And if you don't have a timeline for that, and you don't like to be put on the spot, you can just cut this from the podcast.
Not a hard timeline. So yeah, gonna be transparent, right? I think we're still hashing out a little bit how best it should be presented in terms of just getting it in. I don't have any concerns. Like, we could do that, tomorrow. But I think we really just want to be mindful of how it gets presented and how it gets rolled up. And there's one other question, which I think we're still, maybe I don't know if we settle on this, or we're trying to get some final decisions on it. But I feel like we want to be showing a comprehensive sort of premier event leaderboards, as opposed to, this is a leaderboard of the KeyChain members who have attended premier events, if that makes any sense. So I'd like to show leaderboards where you are represented, whether or not you have claimed your results yet and made an account in some fashion. And maybe that's like, I don't know, shows as having a non-member or something, but that's probably the last like real open question. And like you guys had said, like, join us on the Discord, because these are the things that we're talking about over there. But technically speaking, I don't think it's too far out. But yeah, our brains have been like heads down a little bit, getting awards out, and now we're kind of up for air, and that's on top of mind. Getting decks tagged to event results is also top of mind, so that could be a quick win that we like hit first. But I don't know. So that was a long way of saying not a concrete timeline in mind, but we're talking, probably weeks instead of months, right? Yeah.
All I heard from that whole thing was that you said that I could do it tomorrow. That's all I heard.
Okay, good.
Another mindful consideration too, and we have started talking about this, is valuation, in the sense of like how much XP you earn, right? Premier tournaments are conducted slightly differently. I think we haven't shared this publicly yet, but I think we've landed on a thing we're mostly happy with, where people were to attend the Vault Tour, which consists of, usually they go to two premier tournaments. Obviously, it hasn't always been the case, but most likely 2 premier tournaments. Do they walk away both feeling rewarded in their progression gain from going, but also that it doesn't blow up the existing ecosystem, that people who don't go to premier tournaments feel like, oh, well, I guess my measly XP from locals isn't doing anything. We want to strike a balance there. And so whenever we talk about adding a new event type, again, premier tournaments being the first, we will, as a team, be having a conversation of what's that valuation there for XP, for RP, and as we continue to talk about things like online play, right? Again, how does that valuation come in? That's further down the road, but I just want to kind of convey to everyone that like that's a large reason, implementation aside, why we do want to be careful with this, and why we didn't jump into supporting all types of play groups right away. I know there are people who would have loved to have seen that. I know to an extent myself as well, but we want to handle those things with care, to respect the play that has been done, and that it all feels like it meshes and makes some sort of sense, that we put good thought into it. Yeah, I don't even know why. That's just the general kind of sentiment I feel like towards the XP ecosystem, I guess, if you will, for a corny phrase, but XP ecosystem, the RP ecosystem, how that all works.
Mm-hmm. And I guess maybe to plug the server one more time, if you do feel passionate about seeing non-LGS playgroups, supported on KeyChain, like that's a great place to chime in and jump into the conversation there, because I mean I know me speaking personally for myself, selfishly, most of my Keyforge play is online, so I would love as much as anybody else to get that in there too. And on that note, I guess tied in with sort of XP, RP, and things that you might want to jump into the server to help hash out. I forget who asked about it initially, but we're going to be revisiting the RP kind of tiering, if you will, the mapping of how finishing positions map to points, and that's going to be coming out, I don't know, a day or two. I'm going to kind of rekindle that conversation now that we have some headspace. So yeah, definitely things that we are looking for input on, and that's going to be plenty of things to jump into if you're passionate about it. Absolutely. Yeah. Cool.
KeyChain's pretty cool.
KeyChain's pretty cool. Oh, one other thing.
There's an article. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, one other thing. Before we do any other kind of development within KeyChain, I owe DG Dude an update to the random access archives. I know I've been putting off DG Dude, but this is me saying it's coming. It's coming. All right, sorry I cut you off there, Andrew.
No, this is you're gonna laugh about how silly it is, but I was saying KeyChain is pretty cool, and I always go back to there exists a real website on keyforging.com, and hold on, I'm gonna find it, and this is the opening text verbatim after the header, quote, "The Keyforge Master Vault is cool," end quote. And I just find that I don't know why I find that. So it's on the Digital Amber page, which is funny now because feel like that's changed now with the way event keys are different. But if you go to keyforging.com/Digital Amber, the first text is "The Keyforge Master Vault is cool," and so I'd like to also propose that KeyChain is cool. That makes me giggle for some reason. I don't know. I don't know.
What is the Digital Amber page?
If you go to the very top where it says Master Vault and like the twirl down, and there's one that says Master Vault Amber, just click that and scroll down a little bit, and the very first words there are the Keyforge Master Vault is cool. That always makes me. Guys, I regularly think about this, like, and I don't know why it's. That was the line that was written. That's just me, though. That's just me. What can I say?
They just wanted to make sure that the folks coming through with screen readers got hit with it right away. Just like get you with the punchline before you get too far. I like it. Oh wow! I don't think I've ever noticed that. That's funny.
I definitely did not notice that.
This is why I come on the show, to really just drop the golden nuggets.
So we need a page on KeyChain to just say KeyChain is cool, and that's it.
I think we should do that. KeyChain /cool.
Yeah, it could be an intro for every new feature that we drop. Maybe a kind of a release notes.
Awards are cool.
Awards are cool, man. I like that. Goodness. I like that. That could become a thing. I don't know. All right, sweet. Well, I don't know, guys. That was a lot of stuff. Anything else? Looking over our notes, anything else we wanted to touch on here?
Not for me. Andrew, I don't know if you had anything else.
Well, bottom of the beaker is cool, and I'll stop. This is off the rails. No, just a thank you to everyone. Again, thank you to you two for including me in this project and helping build this. And then thank you to everyone. I've gotten so many like really and seen so much like enthusiastic, positive responses for this, for KeyChain. And that is super meaningful. And we continue to send out wave beta invites and waves. If you are part of an LGS based community, whether you organize yourself or if you're just a part of it, please fill out our interest form, beta interest form, where you can kind of say, hey, I'm part of this group, and this is my role in it, and I like to be a part of KeyChain, and then we'll kind of follow up from there. And that's how we're handling it during the beta period. But yeah, do that if you have a play group and you'd like to have your local play be recorded in KeyChain, because we'd love to have you.
Where can they find the beta interest form?
Well, I certainly don't want to tell you where. I know it's a setup, and I'm saying nothing. They can Google it. No, I'm kidding.
You can find that.
Where can they find it, JT? Wow, that's so considerate of you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Check the show notes.
Very good.
Those. Absolutely. Fun. All right. Well, oh yeah, there you go. Oh, folks in the chat digging for it. All right, we'll drop a link. We'll drop a link right here in the chat. If you're here following along, you get a link, handy link, served right to your keyboard step, as it were.
Side note, I'm also going to add a link to the Discord server in the interest form, so it'll be like in the instructions. So if you're filling it out, you know where to join. We did have some issues earlier where some people filled the form out and they said what their Discord name was, and we couldn't find them because we just didn't have any mutual servers. So I think I'm going to just ask everyone, if you're filling out this form, please also join the server to make it easier for us to find you.
I feel embarrassed asking this at this point, but if you have somebody's Discord handle, can you not find them at all if you have like no servers? Like, I feel like
no, I don't believe you can. You need to have a mutual server.
Okay.
At least I've looked for specific names and could not find them unless I was in a mutual server with them. There may be a privacy setting you could change. That could be it. Not sure though.
Okay. Well, the more you know. All right. Well, I suppose then maybe we'll hear a word from our sponsors if there is no other nuggets to drop. This episode of Bottom Beaker is brought to you by Adaptoid Mints, the refreshment that sharpens more than just your breath. Whether you're switching decks or switching strategies, adaptive games demand mental agility, and nothing clears the cognitive cobwebs like the crisp snap of an Adaptoid Mint. Infused with patented Menthol X, these tiny tablets freshen your mouth and fine-tune your brainwaves, helping you bid boldly and bluff beautifully. Adaptoid Mints, because in the crucible, fresh breath is just the beginning. And a special thank you to Arlie Dennis of Weekend Key Warrior fame for putting us in touch with our sponsor for this evening. Always appreciated. Thank you, Arlie. And quick draw, do you ever find yourself in need of some Adaptoid Mints?
I enjoy Adaptoid Mints greatly. I think they're best when they come with additional bonuses too.
Naturally, a little extra pop. And folks, I want to let you know that Bottom of the Beaker is recorded live on Wednesday evenings at 9:30 Eastern Time right here at twitch.tv/sloppylabwork. You can find recordings of our past shows and other streams over at youtube.com. We are at Sloppy Labwork over there. And for the very best content, 34? No. 57 times distilled and scraped from the bottom of the beaker. Search for that very phrase in your podcatcher of choice, and we'll be there ready to check out the awards on KeyChain with you. All that and more at sloppylabwork.com. Thanks so much, Andrew, aka DeadSync, for all your work on this and for being here with us to chat about and nerd out about KeyChain and awards.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. And quick draw, any words for the folks getting off of the final audio stop?
Just echoing the thanks, Andrew. Welcome to the Two Timers Club now in Bottom of the Beaker. And everyone listening, thanks for tuning in and stay sloppy.
that two-time Andrew. I like it. Yeah, buddy. Put it on. So you're like the next achievement here. You realize that, right? Yeah.
Well, see, listen, it's one is bronze, obviously. I feel like
Silver.
that's, you know,
Yeah.
I think silver. I think you go to two. I feel like it's a big accomplishment, right? So like maybe you do go to two for silver,
It's like one,
and
two,
then I don't know,
five.
gold. Yeah, five. I like five. And then what's the one no one's gonna get? 10? And it's
100.
100.
A-
100.
Astron's about halfway there.
Yeah.
yeah, at least
Nice.
25, we'll say. So,
25. Man, that's a lot.
that
That's a
was
lot.
that was fun. I had fun.
Fun times. Well, so I don't know. Usually we play a game. We could go through some of the awards in more detail if that's interesting. Video content. We could play a game too. I don't know how you guys are doing on time this evening, but either and both of those sound. I guess either of those, both of those might be much sound appealing to me.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I get really tired in the summer. I get up with the sun with my chickens, and
Hmm.
that means that I get up before 6 a.m. every day now. So
Yeah, that's I've been it's been I'm usually up around 5:15. This is how you know I'm old, but I'm usually up
oof.
around 5:15, and usually I'm up and I'm like, oh, it's so dark. How am I up already? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's light. I guess this is
Yeah,
reasonable.
now it is. So I'm over here complaining about getting up at 6, and JT's like, "Oh yeah, I usually get up at 5:15, and I run 10 miles by the time you wake up."
I ate only 8 miles quick draw.
8. Okay.
Only 8 miles. Uh, but I'm not feeding chickens. Holy moly.
Chickens
Yeah.
are easy. You just
Mhm.
you just gotta wake up and make sure that they don't wake your neighbors up. That's pretty much it.
Are they gonna make a big ruckus if they aren't fed on time and they'll
Oh
wake up your
yeah.
neighbors? Yeah.
Yeah, like all we have to do is let them out like into a big run area where they can go and kind of just chill out for the day. But they're not roosters. Not allowed with roosters in the city. But even though they're not roosters, they still like to make a lot of noise, even early in the morning. So
Mm.
just got to get up and make sure that I they don't wake the neighbors up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when you go on vacation, you're like leaving instructions. You're leaving chicken instructions to the house sitter, sort of thing.
I have the best house sitter of all time. It's my mom. She watches the chickens, the cats, the rabbit, everything.
Oh, almost
It
lost
feels like a
audio
whole
right there.
operation.
It is definitely an operation. I have multi-page instructions. Um, I would trust no one else.
Nice, nice. Well, I guess up to you, Andrew. What do you think? You want to play a game? You want to go through a couple of awards? I'm a little sleepy as well,
I'm
so I
down.
would
I'm
be.
down. I'm down. Yeah, I'm down for whatever. I can hang. I could whatever. I know that's a non-answer, but I'm going to give you a non-answer. Sorry, and your call. I would not be upset with any of the choices you make.
Yeah, yeah. Oof. And this is quick draw
I
too.
certainly can't. I don't want to tell
Yeah.
you what to do. You
How
know what I'm
about I'll
saying?
decide. I'm gonna drop, but I'll decide for you guys. You guys play a game of Keyforge. You're gonna play JT. You're gonna play Psy, and
Was
Andrew.
that a
You're
deck that like lasts forever or something?
yes,
Like okay, yeah,
yes.
So Andrew can
Um,
play Nemesis for me, and I'll play
yeah.
Psy,
Heart of the
and
Forest versus Psy. That sounds
yeah, oh,
perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. No, Psy is JT's deck that I really hate with a passion.
Mm,
It has two heavy subsidies to make keys
Mhm.
cost 18, and then it has is it two copies of Celestial Gorm or just one?
There's 2 copies of Celestial Gorm.
Two
Yep.
Celestial Gorms, so you could pop them to make keys cost 6 again out of nowhere. And you have this massive combo with Martyr of the Vault to continue to make them lose all of their amber. So like I've seen
oh,
games where you've probably made your opponent lose 100 amber from Martyr
Oh
of the
yeah,
Vault
easily,
that's,
in
easily
a
100
single
amber.
game.
Hmm.
ugh.
I mean, if things if you get chance to do things and your opponent has no artifact control, you can set up a sort of infinite recurring Martyr of the Vault, or let's not say infinite, but an, recurring enough with a little bit of luck to really make some enemies between Martyr of the Vault, heavy subsidies, offering to kill a Gog, and your double Sandhopper. So you're gonna put your Martyr underneath the offering, pop them back down to 4. You've also got a Timothy the Damned in there. So on off turns, Timothy stops the key, and then the next turn, the Martyr knocks them back down to 5, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Quick Draw loves it. He pretends not to like it.
No,
but
it's fun for one person.
It is. Yeah.
Somehow Not Tonight enjoys playing against it too, I think, doesn't she?
She puts up with it. Whether she's being a good sport or not, I'm not sure. But I have enough fun with it for 2 people. So get some very, very, very satisfying rage quits. Indeed. But why don't we? I'm going to suggest why don't we go through a few of our favorite awards just to show them off since we're here. That can be a good thing. And we'll say good to Quick Draw.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see the awards now.
Yeah.
A game is a commitment, but I can.
Well, that's also another thing I didn't factor in. I probably should have, is that I'm on a laptop, as to not wake up a toddler in the next room over where my computer is. So using the trackpad might be less fun for all involved. So maybe that's a good idea.
That plays well into the Heart of the Forest game we're going for. We're trying to make this last a long time, so
yeah. Let's do some award diving. That's fun. I'll look at your, I guess, the stream screen here. Actually, no, I'll just pull it up. I have a web browser. What am I doing?
It is live for all. I'll put the link in the old chat for folks to mess with too. I don't know if I had done that yet.
It's live for all, not just Kirby.
It's live for all, not just Kirby. Yeah. He saw right through our security by obscurity.
Shout out to Kirby, one of our locals. Not so much a newer player anymore, but has kind of grown as a player in such a quick time. And he kind of found the loop. He found the loophole. He found the secret access panel to awards.
I was gonna say, and congrats to Kirkman for championing the global leaderboard for May. We're now into June, but Kirby was doing pretty strongly there for a while too, I thought. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is Kirby? No, Kirby's in the all-time leader.
Yeah,
He's the all-time leader. Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
We do still technically have what is it? Is it June 6th or June 7th when those monthly leaderboards lock? So I know it's 7 days, but I forget the actual. I guess what would have been the 8th?
The morning of the 7th, I think, will be the last time it
updates.
It updates. Yes.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
So folks in the chat, folks still here with us. We have different various flavors of leaderboards, right? Both global and then for also within your play group. And we give folks a little bit of grace period to get results in before a period of ranking closes. So let's say you're looking at a monthly leaderboard. Well, we're gonna not let you send in results indefinitely for May 2025. At some point we say, no, May's done. You missed the boat. And that happens a week after the end of May. And so folks have a little bit longer to get those straggling results in. But as of right now, it looks to be that Kirkman will champion the month unless there's some 11th hour submissions that unseat them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people would need to win 2 events to pass up the lead that Kirkman has.
And we haven't talked about this. We did mention that we're going to be hashing through with the folks in the beta crowd and the folks in the server how those finishing positions map to points. I'm kind of the opinion that for closed months, even if we change the mapping, we won't go back and retroactively change the standings for those months. But say the all-time board might refresh. I don't know. We haven't really thought about it that much. Yeah. But
dive into awards.
Nothing to consider.
True. So going to the awards page, badges. I think we covered. Did we cover all of them? I think we covered all the badges.
I think we covered all the badges.
Yes, we did.
Nice.
How about maybe we got like 1 or 2 favorites each, or a couple that we want to highlight here.
I like it. I like the picking some favorite achievements, maybe. Mm-hmm. Or badges. You're talking badges.
I like the Waggy. Waggy is a good one.
So I shamefully have no stats for any of these, right? Because we're tracking LGS play. But this is a great one to showcase the achievements for. So we do see in the table down here below too, right? There's tiers for bronze, silver, gold, ascension, like we mentioned. I'm working on the bronze tier currently. I need to have 5 wins in an adaptive tournaments in order to reach this bronze tier. For Waggy, I have 0, and it'll show me right my progression towards the tier I'm working on. It'll also show me how many other players have reached that any particular tier, so I can kind of get a sense for whether or not this is like a particularly chase tier, or whether it's one that a lot of folks are getting, which is pretty cool. I like seeing that. But yeah, you'll see this. I'll get a check as I earn one, and then show me how far along I am towards each of those as we go. But yeah, this is a good one, and this is right up your alley. Quick draw, number of match wins in adaptive tournaments. So we got to start.
It is a cool one, but my locals don't really like adaptive as much. And we also just all love sealed. So literally every week we go at the LGS, we're playing sealed.
I think that's probably gonna be common, right? So looking at the sealed award, which is the shrink wrap specialist, this is just for playing, not for winning, right? Play X matches in a sealed event. At 10 matches, you get the bronze tier. We've already got 20 folks who've achieved bronze tier there. No one up to silver yet, but yeah, definitely sealed's pretty popular.
I'm 20 out of 50 for that one, for going to silver.
Okay.
Nice. I'm at 19. We moved to bi-weekly, so I haven't been racking up the points like I was before.
Well, I know one of my favorite. So the naming process for these, I guess, a bit behind the curtain, is that we kind of just have like a spreadsheet of all these different things. Like sometimes, a lot of times, like I did the graphics for these before. We kind of knew the concept, obviously, you knew the criteria, but like the names were kind of like one of the last things that fall into place. Like we knew that this is the rough criteria and that this is what it would look like. But I'm embarrassed to say that this was the last one to get named, but is absolutely hands down my favorite, and that's always be checked in. Which is, again, the fact that I had this aha moment, and I went, how was this not determined sooner? But that's just that's for attending events. That could be a tournament. That could be also casual play, and we try to be careful about how we word these things, right? When we say tournament in a criteria, we specifically mean a tournament event type, right? Which is a little bit different than casual play events, but this as an event is all encompassing. So it'll count your casual play, it'll count your tournaments and all that stuff. But yeah, I really enjoyed that name, even despite it being the longest it took.
I dig it too. I like the design language that you're building up here. So it makes a lot of good sense. I really like Eventful, which kind of harkens that too. You've got this like calendar that's getting busted through with the checkboxes. Very fun. Very fun.
Nice. Yeah. I think just for fun, I think the first one that was designed was Vault Unlocked. Because that kind of like that motif of the 3 keys kind of masking out the W just felt really kind of like natural to go towards. So that was the first one that came to be, I guess, for people who care about that sort of, your local trivia night, when they run the KeyChain category at your local Applebee's or whatever, you'll know that Vault Unlocked was the first. I think one of the first ones designed outright. Like again, even in the early days. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Brouhaha's fun. This is an Alliance one. Win X matches in Alliance tournaments. Totally.
Yeah.
I like the name there. I like the name there a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, these. Also a note about achievements. Like a lot of these are. They're relatively straightforward in the sense it's kind of like C-stat go up, which, we're covering the basics first. But I think when you look at event full, right, which you mentioned, JT, it kind of shows how we can get a little more specific with them and how we kind of we'll have room to kind of play creatively down the road. and especially like we mentioned, when we can start tapping into deck stats, you can do badges for that too, but we could also do, achievements with these as well. Like, for example, play with this house X number of times or win with this house X number of times. Like, there's a lot of more fun that we can have with this, which excites me um, as well. But this is kind of like, again, our basic set, charm drop 1.
Yeah. So yeah, just talk me through this one. The criteria is described here as in a single calendar month, attend 4 or more events held by a single play group a total of X times. So X is the kind of requirement that we're tracking here. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So if you let's just say you belong to an LGS play group, maybe you belong to multiple, but let's just take one. And for a calendar month, you go to 4 events, which oftentimes means you've gone every week. Sometimes, right, months have more than 4 weeks, so you can maybe sneak in. You can miss one maybe, but within a month, you go to that play group 4 times, and you do that, and that ticks up this number. So that means you've dedicated your time. You've shown up consistently to that play group by showing up 4 times in the month, and you get the tick for that, right? Now, if you belong to multiple play groups, you can potentially, if you belong to 2 play groups, and you go to both play groups 4 times in a month, you could potentially tick this up twice, which is fantastic, right? And again, this achievement exists to really kind of promote the consistency. Obviously, those numbers are a bit lower, and rightfully so, because we all have lives and we're busy and we're going to miss a week here or there. But for the months that you happen to be showing up every week, that number gets to tick up. And I'm happy to say, and listen, I'm biased a bit because I EO our events at our local, but I have the bronze tier, and I guess I must be I'm 2 out of 3 for the silver tier. So hopefully we'll keep able to keep that going. But
I love that 20 people have already got this.
Oh yeah! Wow,
awesome.
That is super awesome.
That means there's 20 people playing a lot of KeyForge.
Well, and that's cool too, because I mean, this hasn't been in the wild for very long. It's like, yeah, you've had like a consistent streak for a whole month for one of the like 2 months that this thing's been out there, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool. And I had to cheat a little bit and make the actual image show, because I felt like we were shortchanging ourselves, not seeing just seeing the dark out image.
Actually, can we pull up one of the Ascension ones?
Yes.
I don't think we've seen, I know we've shown it in our preview, but just to show it again for people who maybe haven't seen what an Ascension version looks like, because as JT does voodoo.
I've got a
because right with the bronze, silver, gold, we kind of mostly keep the presentation the same, except obviously you see that kind of the metallic color change. But Ascension does change other colors as well. Again, we really want to kind of associate that color palette with with that level of accomplishment. So when you pull up someone's actually, do we know, is it possible for us to pull up other people's award? Like, is it possible to pull up someone else's awards set or not yet?
So I can look at the badges, the badges for someone else in my group if I'm an EO, but I don't have a way yet to see just your trophy case, if you will.
Right. Again, I don't want to. I'm assuming that's something that is something that you have on the docket, right? For something you'd want to do at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So up here now, you're seeing the Ascension tier for event full, which looks really nice.
Right. And the calendar color changes. All the bike again. Everything adopts that glowing amber, black and gold color.
Yeah, and then in light mode as well, right? So very nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Andrew's like my.
I can't. Yeah. Same with me. I didn't even know we had a light mode.
We have a light mode. How about that? And I mean, and we may not be limited to. Maybe we'll have some fancy other color schemes at some point, which could be a lot of fun. How
And I
about
also
that?
say it's fun, again. I can't stress enough how this design language for Ascension was done kind of a while ago, and how I'm pretty confident the accolade for Ascension in Master Vault is like kind of the same color scheme. It's like a yellow to orange gradient, and black. I think I could be. I have to look at it again. But when I saw that, I kind of chuckled. I was like, oh, that's cool. Maybe it means we had the right idea, which is cool. Maybe that's the natural, inclination of what to make that look like. So
I will say it gives me very like Darth Vader Sith vibes. I don't know why. Which I approve. Which I approve of.
That's a good point by Data Forge Dream. You should rename the themes
To
instead of
read
KeyChain Dark and KeyChain Light. Do it.
that's
Dark Tidings, Dark Tidings and Light of
that's
the
good.
Arcanines. I like that.
That's clever.
Keychain Light. Let's see. Yeah.
Dark Tidings mode. The buttons just rotate from in a counterclockwise manner every time you try to click on one. The
Yeah.
whirlpool mode.
There you
Upside
go.
down. The tie is low. The tie is high. You can't explain that.
Oh my god, it gets me every time. I love that GIF.
Awesome.
Yeah, do we want to touch on, I guess, trophies briefly? I know kind of we looked at, there's not as many, other than the ones that people cannot see.
I think I'm gonna have to bow out now. I'm
Baden.
fading. Starting to get sleepy. So
All good. All good.
thank you, Andrew. JT, good to see you.
Thanks, Quick Draw. Great seeing you.
Thank you, sir.
Talk tomorrow.
Sleep well.
Peace. But yeah, I'm excited for people to see. People will earn these quote unquote hidden trophies, and then they will show up in their awards list, which I'm excited for. But yeah, I think oh yeah, the success. See that one? We had like four different names for that, five different names for that. It's maybe it'll still change. I don't know. I think success kind of says, hey, like, listen, you've done this good thing, right? You won this event. It's a little smaller, but that's okay. You were victorious.
I like kind of recognizing this, especially because like keep showing up to the 3 and 5 person events. You're fighting the good fight, and make sure that
Yep.
like it's the consistency is what pays off. And I don't know. I'm like not the person to talk here, right? But like it's just, the consistency matters an awful lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe it's tough to get more than 3 right now, but
Yeah.
it's important. So
No, that's a good point. And almost no, that's a good point. I admittedly didn't even think about that. Viewing it almost like as a badge of honor and saying, listen, I've showed up to these events even though there were less people, and I did well. Which is awesome. And that could maybe the bragging rights won't be how many champion trophies you have, but how many success trophies you have to say, like, listen, but this is how we build community, right? At least that's the hope, is that multiple incentives, awards for all different things, and then all of a sudden maybe you get 6 people, and now you're getting new types of achievements. So
busting
awards,
into a
I should
different
say.
different layer, different threshold for awards and things would be maybe if that gets couple extra people to show up, like awesome.
Yep, 100%. And yeah, we got again Quick Draw, Kirby, Wizard Random, Lonia, Barry Skywalker. Happy to say 2 of those. I mean, I know I'm sure there are other people with 2 as well, but Barry and Kirby are locals of ours. So the Ethereal Lounge crew,
The Ethereal
fighting the
Lounge
good fight.
showing up strong. Cool. And Wizard Random sporting their Logos logo, which I love.
Yes.
You have to wonder if they would have gone with the drop hip if it were an option. I don't know, but I like it. So, although
can be unlocked. Yeah. So it's later. It's a later level.
Yeah, a Brilix Ponder comes with is a recruiter for Logos, right? Comes with the Logos enhancements, and famously scraps to draw you a card. Yes, but doesn't come with draw enhancements, right? Just the Logos enhancements. Am I thinking about that right?
I think you're right. I think it's just Logos enhancements.
Yeah,
Actually,
that makes sense.
have we seen a card that's both a house enhancement and a other enhancement? I'm terrible
Ooh,
with route memory. So that maybe in prophetic visions, I don't know, but I didn't think so.
I
But
don't
I
think
could be
so.
lying.
No,
I could be
no.
lying.
Yeah, there's Wizard Random with their Logos pip. Very nice.
Okay.
So cool.
The source of disruption for Arcanama meter, the
Yes.
Logos house pip, bumping that
Yes.
a little higher than anything.
Oh yeah, that one when that shows up with, which I can never spell correctly, let alone pronounce. When that shows up with a house enhancement, it can be brutal. It can be brutal.
Yeah,
Arsinometer?
I thought it was Arcanama meter,
Arcan
but I could be wrong.
Arcanamo, and is that how you pronounce it? Arcanamometer? It does look like it's spelled Arcanamometer.
I'm not certain about
Arsinometer?
many things in life, and certainly this isn't going to be one of them. But Arcanama
Ar-
meter, that's how I think
Arsinometer.
I think I started it saying Arcanometer, but I realized that there's an
Yes.
extra M, and I
There
was
definitely
disrespecting
is.
it
There definitely
by not
is.
saying it. So
We need I don't know. We need ask a judge. We also need ask the ask the local or something.
pronunciation.
Yeah, how do you
But,
pronounce some of these cards, especially the Mars cards? But this one
you
up
see the
there.
enhance icon? You see how that logos icon
Mm-hmm.
just requires the next line to be dropped down a tiny bit more?
Little bit, yeah. Your line height's getting
That
thrown off there a little bit.
that
Drives you
has,
nuts.
well, no, that's kind of how it got the misprint. It seems
Oh,
because extra spacing is needed for icons. Um, assumedly, I don't know, but yeah,
interesting. So it got cut off because it was suddenly getting cropped because those icons were taken, something like that.
and this, I've done, I've done the cards for KFC last year, and also for helping out design with the actual layout of Keymander stuff, and that can happen where you do something, you add the line, maybe you add an extra like space of the line, and then it reaches a limit for the
Mm-hmm.
box that you set, and then it just kind of removes the line entirely. You know, Not saying that's definitely what happened, but it definitely is an extra spacing there, which is fun.
Smells right. I believe it. And I'm curious down too. What do you use for the layouts there? Are you using like some sort of tech, like latex type thing, or you have some other
For the
typesetting
cards,
for layout?
for the
Yeah,
custom cards, Photoshop.
Photoshop. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it. Um, it started with there's a website called the Card Builder. It was, I feel terrible. I don't remember
Yeah.
who made it, but primarily used for like adventures. The Keyforge card. I'm going to pull it up. Keyforge Card Builder. It's a fantastic resource. Go check it out. I'm trying to see if it says who made it, because they deserve kudos. And it started with that, but then I got uh, more and more like wanting to kind of
Hmm.
fine tune the look, and so just Photoshop iteration. And yeah, you'll continue to see more. People will continue to see more of that for KFC this year with the community cards, which I'm
Hmm.
excited to share more on that in the future.
Yeah. Totally. Interesting.
Ooh. Mm.
Maintained by Custom Keyforge. Account just for the repo. Interesting. I was curious to see who was behind it. I don't want to DDoS anybody by flashing a email address, but I'm gonna have to look into that. Very cool. Not DDoS, dox anybody. I mean, cool.
You can DDoS them too. It's tough to.
I could
listen,
DDoS them too. That might be a little bit.
if you got a quantum mouse, you're in trouble.
yeah. I need my ghost formed quantum mouse with the DDoS. Good times. All right, cool.
All right.
Well, I think we'll probably wrap it up there. It was a lot of fun.
Great. That was fun. Thanks, JT. Appreciate again, appreciate you both having me on again. Um, being
Oops.
part of the Two Timers Club, I just feel like a new man now. I just feel transformed. Don't know how to continue on with my life in the same way, but I will do so. I don't even know what I'm saying now. It's getting late, and I'm just starting to ramble. just,
Yes,
but yeah,
awesome.
thanks again for having me on.
Totally, our pleasure. And thanks, folks, for hanging out in the chat. Hope you had as much fun as we did, and we will see you around the lab. Yeah.
See you on KeyChain.
And on KeyChain totes.